Nearly half of all American adults have high blood pressure. That is almost 120 million people. And here is what is wild. Only about 1 in 5 of them actually have it under control. Now imagine I told you, there is an 800-year-old exercise, just 8 gentle movements, that a brand new clinical trial from 2026 says lowers blood pressure as effectively as some medications. No pills, no gym, no equipment, just your body and about 15 minutes a day. Stick around, because the science behind this one is seriously impressive. The exercise is called Baduanjin, which translates to 8 pieces of brocade, or 8 silken movements. It is one of the oldest and most widely practiced forms of Qigong in the world. The name itself tells you something. Brocade was the most precious, decorative silk in ancient China. Calling this exercise 8 pieces of brocade was their way of saying, this is the most valuable thing you could own for your health. The earliest traces go back to the Mawangdui tombs from the Western Han Dynasty, over 2,000 years ago, where archaeologists found silk paintings showing exercise postures strikingly similar to what people practice today. But the form as we know it was first documented during the Song Dynasty, around 1150 AD. One legend credits General Yue Fei, a famous military leader, with creating the routine to keep his soldiers strong, healthy, and battle-ready. Each of the 8 movements has a poetic name. 2 hands hold up the heavens. Drawing the bow. Wise owl gazes backwards. They were designed to work the entire body, stretch the spine, massage the internal organs, and move energy through the body. And here is why it matters now. In 2001, the Chinese government actually commissioned a team of sports scientists, physiologists, and medical researchers to study and standardize the routine, figuring out which versions of the movements were most effective. So the modern form is not just ancient tradition. It has been refined with science. But the real headline came just weeks ago. In February 2026, the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, one of the most respected cardiology journals in the world, published a landmark study on Baduanjin. Researchers followed 216 adults across 7 communities in China. All of them were 40 years or older, and all of them had what is called stage 1 hypertension, meaning their systolic blood pressure was between 130 and 139. They split the participants into 3 groups. One group practiced Baduanjin 5 days a week. Another did brisk walking, and the third group did self-directed exercise on their own. After just 12 weeks, the Baduanjin group saw their 24-hour systolic blood pressure drop by about 3 millimeters of mercury, and their office blood pressure readings dropped by about 5 millimeters of mercury. And those improvements held for the entire year of the study. Now, 3 to 5 points might not sound like a lot, but listen to what the editor-in-chief of the journal said. That is Harlan Krumholtz, a professor at Yale School of Medicine. He said, quote, "The blood pressure effect size is similar to that seen in landmark drug trials, but achieved without medication, cost, or side effects." Let me say that again. A Yale professor looked at this ancient exercise and said its effect on blood pressure is comparable to drugs. And here is the part that really stood out to me. After the supervised portion of the study ended at 12 weeks, the participants kept going on their own. Baduanjin was so simple and enjoyable that people stuck with it. That is huge, because the number one problem with exercise programs is adherence. People quit. As the lead researcher put it, given its simplicity, safety, and ease at which one can maintain long-term adherence, Baduanjin can be implemented as an effective, accessible, and scalable lifestyle intervention. Now, the blood pressure study is the headline, but the science on Baduanjin and Qigong goes much deeper. A 2017 systematic review, published in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine, looked at the accumulated research and found that Baduanjin significantly improves quality of life, sleep quality, physical balance, grip strength, flexibility, blood pressure, and resting heart rate. That is an incredibly broad range of benefits from one simple routine. Then, in 2019, Frontiers in Psychiatry published a review specifically looking at Qigong and depression. They found that Qigong is effective in reducing depression, and the primary mechanism is by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. That is your rest and digest system, the opposite of fight or flight. Several studies also found that Qigong practice lowered cortisol levels. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and chronically elevated cortisol is linked to everything from weight gain to immune suppression to heart disease. And for anyone over 60 watching this, or if you have parents in that age range, the balance data is striking. A 2024 review from Boise State University found that 9 out of 10 studies showed Qigong significantly improved balance or reduced fall risk in older adults. Falls are the second leading cause of accidental death globally, and traditional Qigong addresses the main systems involved: sensory balance, muscle strength, coordination, and mindfulness. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Medicine found that just 12 weeks of a Qigong protocol significantly improved balance and gait in older adults, with effects comparable to programs that require 3+ hours of intense exercise per week, but achieved with far less physical strain. So we are talking about one gentle practice that helps your heart, your brain, your mood, your sleep, and your physical stability. So what does Baduanjin actually look like? It is 8 standing movements, performed slowly and coordinated with deep breathing. A full session takes about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how many repetitions you do. Movement 1 is called 2 hands. Hold up the heavens. You interlock your fingers, raise your palms overhead, and stretch upward. This is designed to regulate your entire body, lower your heart rate, and release tension in stiff muscles. Drawing the bow is movement 2. You step into a wide stance and mimic drawing a bow on each side. This opens the chest, strengthens the legs, and coordinates the liver and lungs according to traditional Chinese medicine. Separate heaven and earth has one hand pressing up and the other pressing down, stretching the entire trunk. Wise owl gazes backwards is a slow head and torso turn that releases neck tension. There is a movement for stress where you literally bow your head below your heart, which traditional medicine says pours calming kidney water onto heart fire. Another where you punch forward with intense focus to release anger and stimulate the liver. The final movement, bouncing on the toes, is a series of gentle heel raises and drops that vibrate the spine and stimulate energy points on the feet. The beauty of it is that you need 0 equipment, 0 prior experience, and it is gentle enough for any fitness level. If you want to try Baduanjin, here is how to start. First, the study used 30-minute sessions, 5 days a week, but even starting with 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a week, puts you on the path. Research shows benefits begin appearing at just twice a week. Second, you can learn the basic routine in a single session. The Chinese government standardized version is widely available for free online. Look for Baduanjin or 8 Pieces of Brocade. The movements are simple and repetitive. Third, consistency matters more than perfection. The reason the study participants kept going after supervision ended is that Baduanjin feels good. It is not punishing. Think of it as moving meditation rather than a workout. And of course, if you have existing health conditions, talk to your doctor before starting any new exercise routine. This is educational content, not medical advice. Here is what I keep coming back to. This is a practice that Chinese soldiers used 800 years ago. It was refined across dynasties, studied by modern scientists, and now validated by one of the most prestigious cardiology journals in the world. A Yale professor said the results rival drug trials, and all it takes is your body, 15 minutes, and the willingness to slow down. If you found this valuable, hit subscribe so you do not miss next week. We dig into ancient health practices that are actually backed by modern research every single week.